M&L Business Machines Company of Denver, which was a crime syndicate operation where Hillary Clinton was laundering $2.5 billion of the Mena, Arkansas drug money. Many U.S. attorneys and judges' bribes were laundered through there. In 1997, it got exposed out, and my ex-in-laws paid an $80 million fine on those bribes and never went to jail. Never went to jail. Matter of fact, Mayor Pena of Denver, Colorado, that was the one that voted for the Denver airport after he said he wouldn't, who took a $2.5 million bribe for his vote for the Denver airport so they could scam, on government contract frauds, etc. He had to resign as Secretary of Interior at the time, and a reporter in Denver with the Rocky Mountain News asking the question. He says, is it true that you're under a sealed indictment? Is it true reason you're resigning? And he got red in the face, squirmed, and said, who are you? And et cetera. Well, anyway, this was a hush-hush settlement that went on. And it was to cover up a lot of the Silverado, the Denver airport, a lot of the stuff that had already been public that I did. Matter of fact, Division 5 of the FBI, this clown that today still spies on me, does operations against me out of the FBI in Denver, Colorado.
Hello?
Mark Hoslaw. Yes.
Hello.
Okay, ma'am, this is a recorded live radio show. So please just listen to the guest. This is, and you'll be able to speak later on. Okay.
Okay. All right. That's my first time calling. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
Okay.
I'm
but
sorry,
anyway, that's okay. That's okay. I understand. So anyway, Mark Hoslaw that runs these operations, Division 5 against many of the patriots, it's so forth in Colorado, patriotic Americans, has done it against many people, is the controller for other people such as so-called patriot Ted Gunderson, Division number 5, stooge that goes around reporting, gets on the radio, oh, yeah, I've been investigating Satanism and child kidnapping and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. The guy tried to have me killed, tried to have me arrested, tried to do everything on behalf of the Bushes. He's a plant. He's been a plant for years. He was the one blackmailing congressmen and senators with children in Washington, D.C., and other public officials known as Operation Brownstone that was reported in the Washington Times back in 1990. If you go in and look on my site, you'll see it under blackmail. You'll see, and everybody's known about the finders and so forth. It's all interconnected. Yet he was the one that ran the operation with George Pender. He answers to this clown named Mark Hoslaw in Denver. So, all these years, for 20-some-odd years, I've had the FBI crawling up my you-know-what, taking illegal orders and illegally targeting me, targeting my customers, my customer base, driving off future customers where I'm giving them a bid on a remodel job, telling them, going to them after I give them a bid and they agree to do it, going to them and telling them, what are you doing business with Stew Webb for, flashing FBI badges on them, telling them that I'm a terrorist, classifying me as a terrorist. They even put in the Denver Post front page, monitored by the FBI's terrorism team as potentially dangerous, things of this nature. They do everything they can to ruin your reputation and your credibility. Anyway, all these years, I've looked at every scandal, been involved with so many whistleblowers. I mean, I've had them come to me. Catherine Fitz. If you go to HUD on my internet site under table of contents, Catherine Fitz, who was the one that was put underneath Jack Kemp at HUD after I caused the HUD scandal. She was to clean it up. She was a Wall Street broker. They brought her in. They kept her from truly investigating. They're still robbing HUD. They own over 500,000 apartment units across this nation. They've robbed out of HUD since the 1970s, et cetera. Catherine came to me saying, Stu, I need your help, et cetera. At the time, Al Martin and I got his book published or shortly thereafter called The Conspirators. I also contributed to that by helping him get it published. My ex-in-laws are also named in that book. He was the Iran-Contra whistleblower, et cetera. He has a website, Al Martin Raw. It's the information like that is on the left-hand column of my website on the front page, pertaining to the books I've contributed to, etc. Many whistleblowers, many whistleblowers I've come across over the years. But in 1991, they locked me, or 1992, they found me when I was hiding from the FBI. They locked me up for a year, 10.5 months. They said I was incompetent to stand trial and harassing, threatening phone calls. They were doing that to get me locked up. They sent me to Siberia, USA, the political prisoner house where all the whistleblowers have been, most of them, that know too much, so that to get you off the map, they put you there. You can't make any phone calls. You can't do anything. Bob Hunt, Office of Naval Intelligence, Lieutenant Commander Bob Hunt, that was the one that tracked down Noriega and grabbed Noriega, was on the phone with George Herbert Walker Bush, president then, who's telling him, and he was in Springfield, telling him on the phone, telling Bob Hunt, you kill that MFer. You kill that MFer. I want him dead. Bob Hunt says, screw you, Mr. President. I'm bringing him to justice, and he captured him instead. Where did they put Noriega? Where did they put Bob Hunt? They put Bob Hunt for not killing him. They put him in Springfield, Missouri. He was there with me. John Cole, FBI counterintelligence agent, found they were selling F-14 fighter jets, Apache helicopters, M1 tanks out of Granite City Steel Company, St. Louis, Missouri, Alton, Illinois, right in that area, shipping them, stealing them from the U.S. arsenal. Had colonels paid off that were allowing these fighter jets, saying, oh, it's a defective part. Well, if you got a defective part on a multi-million-dollar fighter jet, you replace that part and you put the fighter jet, you keep it on the assembly line, should we say. You don't box it up, put it on box it up, put it on a railroad car, ship it over to Granite City Steel, where George Herbert Walker Bush, the Walker's cousins and relatives, are in control of that place, and then put it on freighters going down the Mississippi River to Zapata Oil Transport, or Zapata Oil Company warehouses in Houston, Texas, along the Gulf, shipping it to Liechtenstein and selling it to Iraq, Iran, Libya, and anybody else that had the money to pay for it without U.S. government permission. People like that were in Springfield. There were over 2,500 at the time whistleblowers. These were people trying to bust them. Well, that's one of the ways that I have been so lucky, should we say, not being lucky, but lucky, in gathering information. Many of those whistleblowers came to me while I was there. Rodney Stitch, in his book, Defrauding America, 1/3 of the entire whistleblowers in his book were people that were locked up with me in Springfield, Missouri. I'll leave it as that. But since then, I have repeatedly found my former father-in-law, because he was the money launderer for George Herbert Walker Bush and others. He has always been in the middle of almost every national scandal there has been. The junk bond daisy chain with Michael Milliken, to the savings and loan, to the RTC cover-up, to currently subprime, which subprime, Chris, is not a bunch of people losing their houses. That deals with the economy. What subprime was, and this first bailout was, my friends at the CIA, should we say, French intelligence, the anti-terrorist task force group that put them in a box, I gave them the stuff about the subprime, which was MDC Holdings, the parent company of Silverado Savings and Loan in Denver that my ex-in-laws owned, run by this little scamster, Mossad agent Larry Mizell, who lives in Denver, Colorado, who's in charge of the Wiesenthal Center, the Jewish Center out in Los Angeles. He's the director out in Los Angeles, California. His partner being the Anti-Defamation League, Abe Foxman, who was the Iran-Contra paymaster. They are the ones that were involved in this scandal. And here's what they did. They owned a company through MDC called Richmond American Homes, Richmond Homes, all across the nation. They're one of the top 10 home builders in the country. They built thousands